everybody, and welcome back to Bigger on the Inside, the New Who Doctor Who Watch Along podcast. It's a shorter Series 13 predictions, production, news, productions, everything's production video. I'm joined by, as always on these videos, I'm joined by Harrison. How you doing, Harrison?
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
No worries. So let me just get these pictures up for myself. There have been some new set photos, not released online. And I also don't want to say leaked because it just seems like they weren't really trying to disguise what was going on. Now, it looks to me, well, I know it is the Millennium Centre Bar in Cardiff. That's where this is being filmed. But it also looks like they've had additional props built into it to make it slightly more sci-fi. I'm getting Cantina vibes from this. I don't know about you.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. It's clearly meant to be like a place in the future or whatnot. It reminds me quite a lot of, in the end of
The End of
Tennant's
Time.
last one. Know when he's on on the tour to his companions, and obviously how he goes to Harkness and he's in that area, that environment. It kind of reminds me of that. Obviously, it isn't completely the same, but it kind of has that like edge to it, or that vibe that he would hang out in. So.
I think it could also possibly be a new TARDIS room, just because some of the additional bits they've built into it on the roof, like there's these coral bits on the roof which are already in the bar, but there's also like metal work in there with a few little holes in. And it wouldn't surprise me if maybe we start to explore more rooms in the TARDIS, considering that outdoor production would be limited given the current situation we're in. So maybe more storage set inside the TARDIS. And this is maybe just going to be a scene in which we have Yaz the Doctor and what's John Barrowman's character called? What's his new? Is it Dan?
Wait, who are you talking about?
Not John Barrowman, sorry, John Bishop.
I was going to say, like...
John Bishop, yeah.
That is his name. It's Dan.
Yeah, possibly a scene where they're going to be hanging out in there. I'm not too sure, but I think it would be cool to see some new TARDIS sets, definitely.
I'm up for that, mate, to be honest, because if I'm honest, we haven't had an episode that's had that in a while. I believe the last episode to touch upon that was in the Smith era, the one like the journey into the TARDIS, like Clarin. And that was quite a while ago, but that was obviously all in the TARDIS, and it was quite an exploration into how the TARDIS works, etc. I mean, in terms of like, in this era of Doctor Who, in New Who, I know it's happening classic, but in New Who. So it'd be really cool to do that because, I mean, in terms of the TARDIS we currently have at the moment in this era of the show, we haven't explored it. If there is anything in there to explore, it's just, all it is a room.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I'll be up for that. It'd be really awesome to actually have an insight into this TARDIS and how it works if there is anything else to see.
Yeah, what's the Smith episode with Rory and Amy where they venture off into the TARDIS and they end up in David Tennant's TARDIS briefly, don't they? What's that episode?
Oh, it's the wife one with blah blah in it.
Yeah,
Idris in it. Oh, the Doctor's wife. That's it. The Doctor's wife.
That's it. Yeah, that's a really good fun episode. I like TARDIS episodes. I know on a recent video with Harry, we spoke about the fact that Series 13 Rumours suggests that the TARDIS could be dying, and we would love to have more TARDIS-focused episodes. So something like this would be great fun.
Yeah, like honestly, like I'm up for that because it's quite odd because quite early on in this era of Doctor Who, obviously it was kind of like really early on, obviously when it was, we weren't aware of the episodes. Everyone was like, how's she going to get the TARDIS? It's like the hunt for the TARDIS, and now after we have it, we haven't really had the chance to get, you haven't really had the chance to go into this TARDIS or really learn a lot on it, really. So I want this to happen. I mean, I kind of hope it's a TARDIS interior because like off the images, it it kind of has the vibes of like the Tennant era of like like all the coral in the ceiling perhaps. But It's either that or I don't know, just perhaps anywhere in general. Obviously, it is quite hard to tell, but I do kind of hope it is perhaps a part of the TARDIS that we haven't glimpsed before.
Yeah, I'm looking at some other photos of it here, and there's some leaning archways that look quite interesting, and the holes in the roof that sort of represent the round things. The coral stuff. Everything in it looks very futuristic. So it's not going to be. I would be very, very surprised if it turns out to be an Earth bar. Let's say that.
Yeah, it's a bit odd to be an Earth bar, isn't it? I mean, it's
So hopefully we're going to be seeing more new TARDIS stuff from Doctor Who Series 13. A slightly shorter video than normal, but I think there's a lot of speculation there for people to go on, especially about what we're going to be getting in terms of Series 13 and the reduced episodes, and maybe how stories will be impacted by that. Not massively, I wouldn't have thought, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get some very quickly newly written stories to fill in some gaps for some stories that perhaps we won't be getting anymore.
I'd image that happening, and like it is. I mean, obviously, this isn't as if it's like everything else we've talked about with like, oh, we've got an image of the angels, like or anything like that. It's quite hard to go off on this one. I mean, to be honest, like it's just like in a room. Who knows? It could end up as anything. So, but we are hoping it's part of the TARDIS or a TARDIS, because perhaps we're going to explore other TARDISes belonging to other versions of the Doctor, maybe.
That's true. So thank you very much for listening, everybody, and watching. And they all should have subscribed, shouldn't they, Harrison? They should all subscribe.
Well, I mean, it would help us out a lot, every little helps. It
Close to 250.
Great help if you subscribe. 108. Oh no, 150.
250.
Let's go with that, yeah.
250. We're close to 250.
I was aware of that. Yeah. I'm subscribed.
Good, you better be. Right, thanks very much for listening, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.